What's up YouTube, this is Joe from TeamDeathMeta giving you both a deck update and kind of a new deck like preview of a kind of like a gimmick that I've been doing with DDDs. As you all know, they're my new main deck at the moment. Don't worry, Galaxies are still there for you Galaxy fans out there. But I'm waiting for Infinity to come out. I'm waiting for essentially Bosch to come out for that deck to be fully tested again. So I've been playing around with DDDs. They're my new favourite deck, really fun to play with, and I've been going around with some ideas on how to do, what to do with the deck, how to improve the deck, how to make the deck not only more consistent, but implement new features into the deck to give it more plays, more things to do, and more ways to counteract opposing plays that could hinder us and, you know, essentially get rid of our boards and all that kind of stuff. So one night I just thought, you know, because the biggest thing that I've been trying to make work with DDDs is synchroing. Because the whole point of DDDs is that they can do all extra deck summons and do them consistently, and so without the tuner and our synchro Alexander, the synchro part of the deck is just not there, and I really want to put it in there, but not just like throw something in there, but I want to put something in that works and can help the deck do what it does. If it doesn't help the DDDs do what they do, it supports the DDDs doing what they do. So I thought of different ways to implement synchroing. One of the big things that everyone's going with, that I actually tried out myself before, was Glow Up Bulb. And Glow Up Bulb works, but I feel like I don't know. Glow Up Bulb is just, it enables level 8s, which is fantastic. But there's so many other good synchros out there that I want to try out and I want to put into the deck, because it could help the deck a lot. And so the main thing that I thought of is Speedways. Speedways are an engine and a deck and an archetype that heavily just do synchroing, and they synchro very well, and they do what they do very well. As a deck, I feel like they're just not there as just themselves, but as an engine they are there, and they are there brilliantly. You can splash them in a lot of different decks and but this engine I've come up with, you could probably put in any deck that's just got 3 slots free or something like that, and you can have a viable synchro engine that does what it does. So enough of that. With all that said and done, I'm going to go through the deck and explain my choices and explain how the engine works and why I've gone with this. So to start it all off, we've got one with the non-Speedvoid or DDs is Dark Arm Dragon. I've put Dark Arm Dragon in. I've been testing him out for a while, and along with something else I've put in here, Dark Arm just fits very well. We can manipulate the graveyard very easily. We can force 3 darks in the grave, or manipulate to have 3 darks in the grave very well and very fast. So Dark Arm Dragon is not so much dead as in other decks like Chaos or anything like that, where you throw him in there and it's just like, you know, oh, he works, but he doesn't work as well as I think it does in this deck. Considering we fusion out the graveyard quite a lot, so we can again have 3 darks. So Dark Arm Dragon goes very well in the deck, and I have him at 1 because he's just at 1. But still. So for the DDs, now we have I'm going to speed through because it's very obvious, and this is, you know, all said before. 3 Ragnaroks, 3 Leonidas, 3 Servant Kepler, 2 Berthamet, 3 Swell Slime, and 3 Necro Slime. The up to 3 Necro Slime is because I want to see Necro Slime and Swell Slime as fast as possible. Because once we have a Necro Slime in the graveyard and a Swell Slime in hand, we're fine. We can do all of our plays, we can get our fusions out, we can keep our board like filled or at least have something on the board to support our other cards in the deck, and then just go on from there. The two Baphomet I've always just fluctuated from 1 to 2. I even tried 3 once. They all work. Baphomet is just that card that I just feel like no matter what number you have, he does what he does, and he does what he does good. And so just fluctuating from 1 to 3, all of that. So at the moment though, I have 2 just because I needed room for the voids. So 2 just works perfectly well. It just gets out our Caesars and our Caliuga. So that's all that. Now for the Speed Void engine, we have 2 Red Eye Dice and Terratop at 1. This engine I tried out multiple different numbers. I've tried out 3. At first it was 3 Terratop, 1 Red Eye Dice and 2 Tachyton Borgs. No, it was 2 Red Eye Dice and 1 Tachyton Borg. I had that, so it was a 6 card engine. It worked, but it clogged. And it didn't clog in the way that the Speed Voids were cloggy. It clogged at the fact that they replaced a lot of the DDs that I needed for plays. Because this is still a DD deck, it just has a small Speed Void engine to enable us some really nice synchros to defend our board and to stop our opponents from doing stuff. And so I went with that for a little bit. It was going well, it was going fine, but as I said, it was starting to clog and it was just getting a bit too slow in a different manner. So I tried to shorten it. So I shortened it down further. I think I shortened it down to just 2 Terratops and then the rest the same. Still clogged a bit too much, and so I went even further to this. And this works really well. It works in the sense that you mostly play the engine for the Red Eye Dice because you want a level 1 tuner, but you're getting something more by having the 1 Terratop. The Terratop makes the Red Eye Dice consistent in the sense that unless you draw it in your opening hand or just naturally, you have a way to search out your tuners, as well as the 1-for-1 that we still have in the deck. So you now have 2 ways to search out the tuners, 1 for the hand and 1 for the field. And Terratop, if you have it in your opening hand, turn 1, you cannot, instead of the normal Dark and Caesar play, which is still really good and still works and still very consistent, you can then go into a Dark and Clearing play, if you play it properly. Which is an amazing board to have, and that's why I really like just the 1 Terratop now and the 2 Red Eye Dice. It makes the engine, again, consistent, and it enables plays and searches out and all that kind of stuff that you wouldn't normally do in most other decks that run Speed Voids, or just not run Speed Voids at all if you just went with like Glow Up Bowl or the 2 Effect Vader. Not saying that those aren't great, those aren't good. Those ways of doing synchroing are fantastic if you just literally want to go into level 8s, but this engine enables level 7s, which I'll get to my choices later on. So we have 21 monsters, and that's just mostly it. And then we have for the spells 3 gates, 2 Swamp Kings. I still keep 2 Swamp Kings because I really like the consistency of King Caesar Ragnarok, because he just pushes for OTKs. And gets rid of problematic boards. Still 2 transmodifiers. The play of Dark and Ragnarok is just too strong, it's just too good. Though I am thinking maybe dropping it down to 1, I'm not too sure. So we still have 2. And then we have Sacred Swords of 7 stars, which is a new draw engine, which is also something I've been trying to work on, just getting consistent draw engine. Or draw cards for the deck to make it faster, because we can search as much as we want but we don't have consistent draws. And the one problem with Leonidas is that he just clogs really hard at times, and he's just like, oh great, I've opened up with 2 Leonidas and no fusion cards. Great. So Sacred Sword 7 stars fixes that problem, as well as making Dark Arm Dragon more consistent in the sense that he's just not doing anything if we don't have only 3 Darks and Grave. So we can either banish him, to draw 2, or we can banish Leonidas in the hand to draw 2, but also 7 stars you can banish from the field. If we take the damage, special summon Leonidas, Leonidas has done his job, and then we can just banish him, get 2 cards, and go from there. So if you're playing this card, you can now feasibly 1 barrel from a different dimension if you really want to, but I don't, just because it clogs too much. But 2/7 swords is just really good, so I really recommend giving it a go and seeing how it goes for you. The still 1-for-1, we now have 5 targets, well 5 main targets. We can search Necrosummon if we want to, but we never do. So we have 5 main targets for this card that's really consistent and enables more plays. The 3 Upstart Goblins is still mandatory, I think, just to turn our 40 card deck into a 37 card deck, as the saying goes. Just gets consistency going. And then for traps, we have still the 2 Witch, still great, really one of the best traps in the deck. The 2 Call the Haunted for revival plays with Ragnarok and all that kind of stuff, bringing back our darks in the end phase, so that we don't take the burn damage and all that kind of stuff. Call the Haunted is a really good card in this deck, and I highly recommend you guys giving it a go. The plays that you can just make are fantastic. Then we have the 1 Epidemic Virus and the 1 Vanities. Just to say, the Epidemic Virus, I decided to main this one instead of Deck Devastation for the moment, because I, as another YouTuber says, Epidemic Virus is more live in majority of situations and plays than Devastation, because every deck wants spells and traps, and every deck wants spells. So if you can pull off an Epidemic Virus very early in the game, depending which deck you're up against, just simply calling out spells can just ruin your opponent's day and just get you that closer to winning the match, because they lost all of their search cards, their draw cards, their Raigekis, which is just such an annoying card, MSTs and all that kind of stuff, just gets rid of all of them. So Epidemic is just the 1 virus I keep in the deck, and I side the 2 Devastation still. So that's the main deck. The extra deck is slightly standard, but I'll explain the end choices. The 3 Darks and 2 Caesars for our fusions, still main things. The 1 Kali Yuga, 2 Brave Caesar, 1 Red Eyes Flare, 1 Big Eye, 1 Absolute Odd Eyes Dragon, 1 Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend, 1 Ignis of Prominence. You can swap this out for a Scrap Dragon. I've used both, and Scrap Dragon just is very good in the deck, but I just thought I'd go with Ignis of Prominence, because if we have a board of Leonidas and a red-eyed dice, we can go into this and just wreck the opponent's day. 1 Meteor Burst Dragon and 1 Clearing Synchro Dragon. Now, when I first played this deck, I was going with the whole 5-5-5, having 5 fusions, 5 XCs and 5 synchros, to just start off with and just see how it goes and see which ones I go into the most. The 5 fusions I've kept the way they are. I will show you the extra thing that I have tried out. So these you need at the most, you need these cards. These XCs are the ones that I chose as the most useful and the most consistent, and the ones I go into the most. I did have 1 Wave Caesar and then 2 Kali Yugas, but I noticed you only go into 1 Kali Yuga at the most, and you can still side in the extra Kali Yuga, because I was using it for a certain trap card, which I will bring up for you guys. For this, I side this card against the Magician Pendulum matchup, so we can then go into a Kali Yuga very easily and just wreck the opponent's board. These are the 2 main ranked servants that we use. Red Eyes Flare to finish off the OTK and lock our opponents out and just do extra damage. Big Eye to steal opponents' monsters and just disrupt their plays and keep us ahead. and I chose the Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon just because I love the synergy of Odd Eyes Absolute and Meteor Burst Dragon, with them both being generic and Meteor Burst being a consistent level 7 that we can go into with Terratop and Red Eye Dice along with clearing. We can just have a monster for each situation. So if we can go into Meteor Burst at first, and then when he leaves the field we can then bring him back with our Absolute Dragon, as well as having a Utopia out essentially and a 2/8 beat stick, we can just go and just have so much different options and so many different plays that we can do, which is why I really like this kind of build now. And this is a build that I really want to make work until we get the new structure deck or any more support. Then I'll just be going with the standard pure DDDs all the way, and maybe still have Dark Armed, I'm not too sure. The Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon is something I just want to quickly mention. You can actually have this in your extra deck if you want to. You could either take out any of, you can maybe take out the Wave King Caesar, maybe one of the rank 7s, not Absolute because he is the whole point of putting a Vortex Dragon in. You can even feasibly take out Wave Caesar Ragnarok and put in the Vortex Dragon, because if your Absolute goes, then you can bring out Vortex and just, you know, disrupt opponent's players, as well as bringing back your extra deck pendulums that you don't need in there, because we don't really pendulum summon much. But that's the deck. I hope you all enjoyed it. The reason I call it SRD, Speed Void Demons, and Speed Void has 2 Ds in it, so you can even just, it just works. The name just works. Hope you enjoyed this deck profile of Speed Void Demons, SRD. And if you like the idea or anything like that, mention it down below. It would be great to see if you enjoyed this idea, or if this idea gives you any options and ideas for your DD deck. It's a very cheap engine to run as well. You can pick these up for like £2, £3 for play sets, and just, you know, have extras lying around. And then the extra deck is just literally what you want. I just pick the most useful ones, especially Scarlight. He just opens up so many OTKs. And you know, the main ideas as well, I wanted to put clearing in the deck, because clearing just helps our board so much, just giving us extra protection. So our main boss monster is a fusion. Well, the main monster we go into is a level 7 fusion. Clearing just helps support it. But that's it. Again, hope you all enjoyed the deck profile, and I will see you all guys in the next video. It will probably be either a pure DD deck or something like that, maybe something else. I might even profile my Synchron, so I've been working on that a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.